a simple solution. Yeah. You and you and you and you and you too. We can be love's evolution. We can be one big family. We don't mind now, oh Hana, Kimi don't Hana, Mana. We don't mind now, oh Hana, don't Hana, Mana. Be one big family. So when you see the Southern Cross for the first time, you'll understand now why we come this way. I've been running from it so small, but it's just me as a promise of a coming day. Yeah, the Spirit is using me now. The voice is calling. Whatever brings you and me, now we cannot be forgotten. I've been around. Yeah, looking around. Looking for that woman, your love. Getting you and you know it here. Give it up, mana, oh hana, oh hana, mana. Give it up, mana, oh hana, mana. 'Cause we can be one big family. So I played this one last time for the people of Ukraine. So I guess I'll play this again. Well, the caravan, it's on its way. Yeah, I can hear the merry gypsies start to play. Oh, my sweet Amarillo. He's playing on the radio. Singing la 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 la. Turn up your radio. Let 'em hear your song. Get on with what's going on. We can sing la 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 la. We got a lot of love. We got a lot of love. We got it inside and outside and all around. We got it inside and outside, upside down and all around. We got a lot of love. We got it inside and outside, upside down and all around. We got a lot of love. Well, the caravan, you know, has all my friends. And that means everyone's staying till the end. Barefoot gypsies round the campfire singing praises. And the lady tells us of her ways, singing la 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 la. We got a lot of love. We got a lot of love. Yeah, we got it inside and outside and all around. We got a lot of love. We got it inside and outside, upside down and all around. And the caravan, you know, it's painted red and white. That means everyone's staying overnight. Oh, sweet lady of delight, your eyes will reveal you. You just turn up your love light. And we can get on with what's going on. We sing la 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 la. We got a la 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 la. We got it inside and outside and all around. I think before we get too far in, I'm gonna play a song. It's my newest song. Since I was here last time, my brother had a heart attack. We were 2 miles out fishing, and my brother dropped, and it was pretty intense. He's okay. Yeah, most people live through the first one. Yeah, some people have several, but I was there with him, and it was pretty intense. So as a songwriter, the way we deal with our emotions is we write song. So this is my song called Brother. Brother, I was with you out at sea. We caught three, oh no, Mr. Chip, you and me. We were a high-fiving, we were so happy. We headed out for heat when you dropped and you cried out in agony. Brother, I was with you, I was right there by your side. I put my hands upon you and I reached down deep inside and I cried out across eternity. Oh, Lama Kua. Oh, Lama Kua. Oh, Lama Kua. Your brother, I was with you in your emergency. Lights flashing, sound around. Doctors and nurses came from all around. Cried out across eternity. Oh, Lama Kua. 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 Brother, I was with you. Oh, Lama Kua. Oh, Lama Kua. Oh, Lama Kua. Oh, Lama Kua. This is kind of a fun one. I got two more songs, 2 more minutes. Yeah, yeah. This is kind of a fun rock and roll song. It's called Do You Ulu. Everybody knows ulu, right? Breadfruit. Baked and fried and salad on the side. Have you tried ulu too? Yeah, ulu too. Like, have you had the hummus? You should try the hummus. Everybody, hummus, 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 hummus. If you're ever down at Magic's Bar and Grill, you can see them, you can see them still. You can watch the uppies with their hush puppies and ulu. Yeah, ulu too. Make my dirty, dirty, dirty with the sauce on the side. Make my dirty, dirty, dirty with the sauce on the side. And ulu, ulu too. Well, legend says Coop buried his head, gave his body for his family. And from that place there grew a tree. Give us a fruit that tastes like bread. So come on. And like I said, tell me, do you ulu too? Yeah, you do, you do, you do, you do, you do ulu too. You can turn me loose on that chocolate mousse. You can turn me loose on that chocolate mousse. And ulu, 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 ulu too. Yeah, baked and fried and salad on the side. Yeah, you do. You do ulu too. Yeah, you do.
Woohoo! Mahalo. Wow. Okay, all you people out there in Cyberland, that was Kaimana Lighthawk, and he's going to be our guest musician today. I'd like to welcome you all to the Sunday, June 5th, 2022 version of New Thought Center of Hawaii today. We have a wonderful speaker who is going to bring light to our world. Um, Maria Christina Owl and her partner Ariel Brown are here to share with us some amazing ways to help us heal and bring more light ourselves into the world. I'd like to thank Stephen for being our sound tech today, and Terry for doing the setup, and Pasha for doing everything else, and Rob for being her ever constant sidekick for that. And I'd like to invite um, our reader for today to come up and read The Science of Mind. Oh, you can tip that, just tip the microphone up. Yeah, there you go.
Hello. Good morning. From today's Science of Mind, we have titled The Inner Temple. If you observe well, your own heart will answer. And that is brought to us by René Adolphe Schwaller de Lubitz, if I said that right. And a quote from Ernest Holmes from Richer Living. Any sense of guilt we have, Any burden of condemnation we entertain, or any mental state that weighs us down, hinders us from more fully experiencing the nature of spiritual reality. So, Rene Adolphe Schwaller de Lubitz was a passionate and controversial Egyptologist and mystic. In his tome, The Temple of Man, he writes of the impeccable blending of mathematics, symbolism, and spirituality uncovered through his years of archaeological research and findings on the temples of ancient Egypt. De Lubitz wrote, quote, "If some day it is given to you to pass into the inner temple, you must leave no enemies behind." Unquote. Is his inner temple a literal structure or something else? Consider the inner temple he references as the Sacred Heart. It is a portal of boundless and compassionate love. And if someday we encounter the opportunity to reawaken and experience the healing blend of our human state with this mystical awareness, then we must not exclude anyone from our earnest offerings of gratitude. In this temple, spiritual alchemy occurs. That is that which is dark becomes light. In this temple, no one is left with the label of enemy. All such thoughts of anything or anyone as the enemy, as science of mind describes, quote, are outside the law and cannot be taken into the heavenly consciousness, unquote. Within the sincere examinations of our life, there is a healing opportunity to re see all personalities and events in the light of the Spirit. This inner temple, Sacred Heart, is our true home. Ironically, we long for home, yet fear and resist what its unconditional powers offer. This resistance reveals the strength of our attachments to our story, identities, and beliefs. What might happen if we brought it all into the inner temple? And the affirmation today: I answer the call to come home to my divine self.
I
I
answer
answer the
the
call
call
to
to
come
come home
home to
to
my
my
divine
divine self.
self. And so it is.
That was Momi Nobriga. Thank you so much, Momi. And I am Reverend Pomaikai Kulan, and I am the facilitator for the program today. And really looking forward to this talk today. I've been waiting for weeks for this. I'm so excited. But right now, let's go inner, as she suggested just a minute ago, and close our eyes, get comfortable, and take in a deep breath in and let it out. And another breath in and out. And one more time in and let it out. And keep allowing yourself to breathe comfortably and deeply and move your attention from the outer to the inner. Move your awareness into your heart. Feel whatever is going on there: peace, joy, excitement, curiosity, trust, adventure. Whatever it is, just be aware that it's absolutely perfect right in this moment. And notice that your heart center fills with this warm, beautiful sensation from this beautiful spark of white light right in the middle. And that spark, as you breathe each breath, grows bigger and bigger. That is the spark of life, spark of love, the essence of who you are. This is spirit within you expressing through you. And allow it to continue to grow as you move your breath. Excuse me. Allow allow that spirit of love, that spark of light to grow and fill your entire body. Feeling the love pouring through every cell, every organ, your blood, your bones, your tendons, your ligaments, all your organs, your brain, your eyes, your nose, your mouth, your ears, filled with love, expanding, expanding this love and moving it out even bigger around your entire body and moving even more as you allow it to grow and fill this entire room, touching everyone and everything, allowing that love to gently and easily and effortlessly grow and expand and move into your neighborhood wherever you are, allowing it to expand even more, moving into the whole of the city or the town that you're in, wherever you are, allowing that love to now move down the mountains and the hills and into the oceans, blessing every place and space and face. More love and more light continues to spread throughout the oceans, visiting every continent, visiting every place around this entire planet. Our love is touching it all. Our spirit self is there right now. And continue to breathe and allowing it to even grow even more till there is no space on this planet that is not filled with our love and our light. And allowing that bright blue ball of light to shine even more out into outer space. And allow yourself to take a few minutes now and take your love wherever it is you desire, touching places you know and places you don't, allowing it to just be. And now gently bring yourself back into this space where your body is. Bring your awareness fully present in this beautiful vessel that we call our bodies. Bring it fully present, full of light, full of love, full of joy, full of peace, and full of excitement and laughter and kindness and respect. Bring your body fully back into this space and be here now. Mm. And now we're going to have another beautiful song from Kaimana.
In the sound machine, on a cloud of sound, I'm floating around. You never know what we might find on a magic, 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 magic copyright. Yeah. The other night I found Aladdin's lamp before I could make my wish. Someone took that lamp away. Well, I looked around. This old guitar was all I found. You never know what we might find. Come on, close your eyes. Look, look, look inside. Let the sound take you away on a magic, magic carpet ride. Can you feel, can you feel, can you feel, can you feel your fantasy? Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Can you feel to heal your fantasy? Yeah, let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Come on, tell your dreams to me. Yeah, fantasy will set you free. Can you feel to heal your fantasy? Yeah, let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Well, I love to dream right between the sound machine.
Ooh. So, for those of you who haven't been to New Thought before, this is how we do applause. It's the international sign language for applause, and this is how we do standing ovation. And we do it because we found that when you clap your hands, it breaks the energy. So we want to stay in the flow of that great music he just played. So just to do a little bit of introduction for those maybe watching this live or recorded later on, New Thought Center has been here for 51 years in one form or another. And we are rather different than a lot of other religious organizations in that we're here to provide a safe and um, loving place for each person to have their spirit nurtured. And we honor every religion and every belief path that anyone has chosen. We don't want to change that for anyone. We just want to enhance it. So that's what we're all about. And um, seems very short, but usually we have um, introductions around the circle, but because COVID has changed all of us, oh, and just the quickie COVID announcement is so this is since our new state of being on Hawaii Island. So we have new seating sections based on your choice to mask or not mask. So that half is for unmasked people, and that half is for masked people. And we request that if you're sick, please stay home. If you've been exposed to COVID within the past 5 days, please stay home. If you do happen to encounter COVID in your body temple, please let us know so that we can send an email out to everyone. We won't use your name. We'll just say that there's a possibility you've been exposed so that other people can take appropriate action. And um, we respect your right to choose whether or not to wear a mask. If you are maskless and want to share a miracle, please put one on for that time since you'll be using a shared microphone, which is right here. And the masks are right on that table over there if you want to come up and do that. But first, by way of sharing something else, there's this amazing little book that is out of print, unfortunately. I can't can't hardly read the top the name of it anymore. The Art of Life. And it's my favorite little, open a page and get your message for the day kind of book. And the one I got today was This World is a Blank Canvas or an Unwritten Song. Do with it as you will, but know this everything is an extension of God's essence. So, um, so I'm going to open it up to miracles and ordinaries. If anybody had something amazing happen or just ordinary happen, now's the time. Share it with us so that we can all be inspired.
2 months ago, and he goes fishing every Tuesday with he's recently sober. My brother's been sober now for about 3 years, and he goes fishing every Tuesday with his sponsor in AA. Yeah, who he anyway. I had never gone fishing with them, but I went fishing with them this one day, and I sang the song earlier that kind of described what happened. But we were literally 2 miles out, and my brother dropped with a heart attack, and that could have gone so much worse. Yeah. And when I prayed later about what happened and why and how Spirit told me I was there in order to make sure he lived and made the changes. And I'm so proud of my brother and the changes he's made. He stopped smoking. He's really considering the vegan life. And, these are things that I've prayed for my family for a long time. So I'm so grateful for my brother's healing, for my brother's life and the change in our family that's happened through what seemed to be um, a problem or a trauma that became like the most beautiful miracle in the family. So give thanks for that.
Thank you. Spirit always puts us where we need to be, even when we don't think we belong there.
Okay, I'd like to share a ordinary miracle concerning a flower. It's called the daylily. I think I became aware of it maybe 15 years ago. I was sharing a classroom with a colleague who taught Japanese, and um, she brought these beautiful little flowers into the room that we shared. They're kind of white on the outside, and then they on the inner part they have a part that's purple with a little bit of gold. And no matter how you no no matter how quickly you put them in water or what temperature environment, they they're beautiful for a day. They're just a day lily. Um, but they're so precious, and now we have them growing in two places on our property, one patch behind the house and one patch in front of the house. But the ordinary miracle is I learned something new about these flowers in the past week, because the patch that grows in front of the house, I can see it from the our little meditation porch. And I observed on several different days that when I began my meditation, they were in the bud state. They were closed and you could only see the white, and they had the bud kind of shape. But by the time I finished the meditation, like maybe 45 minutes later, they'd bloomed. And so I I'm not sure whether how our consciousness is related, whether they're appreciating me meditating, or because I'm meditating, I'm noticing that they're blooming. More likely the latter, but in any case, thank you, daylilies.
Woohoo. Awesome.
So I have a very brief ordinary miracle. I was invited to my cousins for dinner. They snowbird here, and anyhow, they have a frequency machine, and
Ooh.
they were talking about the work of Dr. Rife and the 30s and 40s and his work with frequencies. And I'm like, I kind of heard about frequencies, and my experience is more with tuning forks. And then I was reading this morning the newsletter, and to discover that our guest speaker is speaking about frequencies and how frequencies harmonize the body and bring us back into a state of health. And like they have this whole book on what different ailments can be brought into harmony according to the frequency you use. And so I just thought that was a very mystical coincidence that harmonies and frequencies and healing were all being spoken about in the same weekend.
Woohoo. Wonderful. Anyone else? They're pointing at each other. They're shy. Okay. All right. So now, uh, one of my favorite parts, I get to introduce our speaker today, Maria. And I'm just going to read a little of her bio. Um, actually, a small part because she may want to share about some of this other part. But she has been doing this work now for 30 years. So that means she's an expert. And she's fascinated by the connection between our neural impulses, brainwaves, and frequency, and how to promote health through introducing specific frequencies. She used to do it in a different way with wild nature earth based ceremony with groups. And today, um, she's exploring brainwave states through channeling star friends and higher density allies. As a full body trance channel, she's able to enter rare brainwave states that feel like a timeless peace and joy. And then she links it and entrains to the higher frequencies of her guides. This experience has been profoundly healing for her. She says sound and frequency are the future of medicine and healing. Knowing this, last September, Ariel Brown and I joined together and designed what we call frequency clinics. These chakra tuning sessions include the 432 Hz crystal ball frequencies with drumming, chimes, didgeridoo, and vocal sound streaming, along with the channeled wisdom teachings, group shares, and journaling. Each month, we focus on a different chakra, honing into the energy meridian to clear, balance, and calibrate. So I'd like to turn this now over to Maria, and I'm going to go sit over there. I'll come back here when your time is almost up. And
How much time about do I have?
well, take extra time till quarter after.
30 or 40 minutes?
Yeah, till 11:15.
Okay, great. Thank you. Test, test. Test, test. How's that? Sounds good to me. Aloha, everyone. I'm going to start with a song, and I invite you to join me once you pick up on it. This is a song that came to me to honor Mother Earth, and I'm going to sing it while he's setting her up. I come from your weaving hands, weaving hands. I come from your weaving hands, your weaving hands, singing mouth. I come from your singing mouth, singing mouth. I come from your singing mouth, your singing mouth, dancing feet. I come from your dancing feet, your dancing feet. I come from your dancing feet, your dancing feet. I come from the rising sun. I come from the blowing wind. I come from the crashing waves. I come from the rolling hills. I come, singing mouth, from your singing mouth, singing mouth. I come, weaving hands, from your weaving hands, your weaving dancing feet. I come from your dancing feet, your dancing feet. When I was a little girl, something miraculous used to happen. In the times of a lot of contraction and pain, when I felt very alone and isolated, my childhood environment was very violent and traumatic, with a lot of alcohol. So in those very contracted times, I'd be sitting in my bed and just not knowing what to do with the suffering, being a little girl. This presence would appear at the door of my bedroom, and it was pure love. And I was aware that there was luminescence in this presence. Didn't matter whether my door was open or closed. Whatever I was kind of gripped with, I would just look at the door. And these tall beings would be there. I didn't see them with my eyes. I saw them with my third eye, my etheric eye, because they were etheric. There were always more than one, usually a cluster, 3 to 5. And suddenly everything in my body would completely relax. The fight or flight, that reptilian brain would calm down, and I would go into a state of peace. Like every cell of my body would shift just like that, just from their presence. It didn't happen frequently, but it did happen throughout my life. When I was in my 20s, I was doing a internship at a farm in Oregon, and I was creating inner violence in myself through beating myself up. It was an internal beating. I was creating my own contraction. And I was sitting in my dorm room, and it must have gotten pretty bad because they showed up. They showed up in the door of that dorm room. Doors are portals. They would phase in from their dimension into our physical realm just enough to remind me who I was, how loved I am, how supported I am. And everything would drain, all the fear would drain. I didn't remember in my adulthood, I would forget these events happened. And then suddenly, as I got older and in my 20s, I worked at many metaphysical bookstores. I had a lot of catalysts in my life, very difficult catalysts that really kind of pushed me towards, in a good way. Like, what is the nature of life? Who are we? What happens after death? You know, just all these questions, these existential seeking from my later teens onward. And I worked at many metaphysical bookstores and I read everything I could. And then I found a group in my town that was going out to the desert for Vision Quest. And I went at 19. And then I went again the next year with this group at 20, praying and discovering the true meaning of community and family and trust. And it was on the second Vision Quest in Death Valley. I was sitting at night in prayer, and I had built my mini medicine wheel. And suddenly this huge flash of light, this huge light just appeared. And it was about 7 feet tall, like an oval. And it just flashed right inside my personal circle space. And I ducked under my sleeping bag and I was like, I'm not ready, I'm not ready, I'm not ready. And it did not phase in again. Yet. that reminded me of all these times in my childhood. And I realized, I used to call that visitation my star family. For some reason, as a child, I called them my star family. So something as a child, I knew something. I knew something about where I came from and who these beings were. So, of course, here I am. I'm turning 50 this year. And I am working with my star family every day. I found my way home. And it wasn't easy. So, transmediumship and being a channel runs in my family on both sides of my lineage. My father's side of my family is Mexican, and a large percentage of that DNA is indigenous Mexican, Mayan, Aztec, Huichol. And my mother's side is European, and her DNA is, back to the founding fathers, and then before that to England, Scotland, and France, and Holland. So on my father's side, my great grandmother was a curandera, and she was treating her barrio, her neighborhood, with herbs. When people were sick, they knew to go get Rafaela. On my mother's side, my great grandfather was an evangelical minister who during the 30s was traveling around the country doing revivals, like 10-day tent revivals during the Depression. And he was speaking in tongues. People were having miracle cures. He wrote a whole pamphlet on being infused with the Holy Spirit and what happened to him. He fell to the floor speaking in a light language, and he had no control over his body. And he said it was an ecstatic feeling. And there were witnesses there watching him holding, they just knew it was like divine. When my grandmother was a child, Ruth Evangela Grant, my grandmother, she's turning 101 this year. When she was a child, her mother had cancer in her neck. And because my great grandfather was a minister, they had a little chapel room in their house. The day before she was meant to go into surgery, and it was kind of like a very risky surgery because they were going right into her throat. And they let the family know the risks. That night, great grandfather Shreve had everybody go up into the chapel room, and they just prayed over great grandmother Leela. The next day, the tumor was gone. She's healed. So I lean into my ancestors a lot. They're a big part of my life. They weren't always, but I found my way home to them intentionally. They kind of like wouldn't leave me alone until I acknowledged, like, hey, guess what? You're stronger with us. Guess what? So my path to developing my channeling ability was a rocky road. From early childhood, I was getting attacked a lot by negative beings. And all I knew is it was very scary. And so was my, childhood home. So it kind of like was all the same. The etheric world was scary and the physical world was scary. And I would have to kind of like fight for my body a lot in that, going to sleep, going into paralysis, and having to fight things out of my body and claim it. So when I was 20, I initiated on the Lakota Red Road and became a Chanupa carrier, sun danced, I vision quested. I eventually ended up pouring water for about 20 years and pouring water for sweat lodges and ceremonies. And left that community after 6 years, my teacher, because of inappropriate sexual stuff that was going on. So my whole community said no. And then I was just flailing, like, who am I? Where do I go now? I put everything into that as my spiritual identity. The language, the ceremonies, I saw miracle healing ceremonies with medicine men and from all over. So I was heartbroken. Yet I found my way. I found energy medicine. I found training, certifications, hypnotherapy, all kinds of things. I kept on seeking. I never stopped. I kept developing myself. I got my master's in counseling psychology. And then I found, so in all of my work with indigenous tribes and elders, I've been adopted into a lot of tribes. I've worked with a lot of teachers from many, like 17, 18 different tribes. And none of them would approach what was happening for them. I mean, they were channeling. They were in the midst of a doctoring ceremony, going into being a conduit for this powerful healing force. And sometimes not healing, and then negativity would come through because they were unhealthy people. And they wouldn't broach the subject with me. And I was way too shy to ask for help and ask for training. So finally, I realized that if I didn't learn how to control my gift, it would control me. And having done many decades working in metaphysical bookstore, having guest channels come in and meeting different people who are channels, I saw that there was a tendency for an unhealthiness in it, and a losing of themselves, and a glorification or a self-aggrandizement. And I didn't trust channels, but I knew I was channels. I ended up in Brazil with John of God, with my brother, who's also a channel. And my brother ended up, unfortunately, possessed with something negative. So he's on federal disability because it took over his body. But he's very positive and pure and kind, and he will not allow it to do harm through him. So he literally just lives his life containing it and doing as much good as he can, but he can't work. When this first happened to him, it first came on with all these voices in his head. At 37 years old for me, 38 for him, we went down to Brazil. It didn't help him. But what I saw there, I knew that that was what I was capable of. When I saw the channels supporting John of God, I don't actually, blessings to that being that was John of God. I don't believe he is John of God any longer. But, and for me, I needed that. I needed to see the very extreme light and the very extreme dark of what can happen with this ability. And then I had to make my decision. Am I going to choose this and step into it and say yes? Or am I going to repress it and say no to it? Yet, if you probably know this, when you have a gift that's innate in you, and even like in your DNA, it's very hard to suppress it. It's very hard to deny it and to walk away from it because it's there no matter what. And it's actually a power that's growing in you as you grow. Because as we grow, there are more and more doorways and more opportunities. It's like they're portals of initiation that we walk through. And they're markers in our life. And we're going to move through those markers no matter what, whether we acknowledge those initiations as initiations or not. So at each of these markers, we're going to say yes, or we're going to be ignorant to them. So I had to say yes because my history was such that I knew how dark it could get with my father and with many things. So I said yes, and I ended up manifesting some people to train me in an African religion, the Ifa Orisha religion. And this is a spirit possession religion. I was only in the tradition, and my husband and I connected, and he also was initiated as a priest. And so we went through that for 3 years with them. And I know that that was for my development. This is where I started to learn about frequency. this is where I started to understand that when I am setting myself and being love, then only love can work through me. And I know it sounds very simplistic and like a no-brainer. And at the same time, I wasn't living that truth. I wasn't embodying it. I could know it, but I wasn't embodying it. I was still living a lot from fear of being taken over, of what happened to my brother. And so I initiated. I became a priest of Yamaya, and I started to have the experiences in a safe, incredible, tight container of ritual and ceremony, honoring the ancestors of light and honoring the forces of nature, of the ocean, of the river, of the forests, of the medicinal plants, of and having these full body experiences of dancing and singing and doing healings on people. So this community also turned out to be very dysfunctional, and we left after 3 years and we moved on. And I'm like, I think I need to create something. I think I need to create this myself. So it took a couple years, but I developed holistic channeling. Holistic channeling, right? Mind, body, spirit, health. The body matters. Live in the body. Don't ever leave the body. So when I channel, I what I call it is a vertical alignment, to my soul light, to my oversoul, to my star family, to my higher density natures. At 6 density, at 7, and then to the great mother and divine father, the cosmic Buddhas, the cosmic Christ, and then the infinite creator source, intelligent infinity. And through this, I open a direct channel, and then I get a healing. I get healed. I get healthier. And so through this process, I've been meeting incredible ohana in these higher densities who love us so much. You probably know from your own experiences, perhaps, in your meditations, in your prayer, in your channeling. It just makes me so happy. So I want to talk about this. Etheric and physical are so close. They're so close in frequency, yet they're different. It's like water. Water can be ice, it can be water, it can be steam, right? And the etheric is like the liquid water, and the ice cube floating in that water is our physical body. We are water, water's inside us, we're floating in water. So the etheric is everything everywhere. And we're having a denser experience of energy. We're vibrating a little slower, so we have physicality. Yet our energy anatomy, the chakras, this is our etheric. This is etheric. It's so close. Our Mother Earth, Gaia, she also has an etheric body inside of her, like we do, and outside of her. She's the ice cube floating in the water, too. Our galaxy, same thing. At the center is the black hole, where the light and the etheric water is coming out of it. And then we have all the matter in a great etheric galactic heart mind, right? The etheric. And it goes on in fractal form like this. I would say steam is the astral. It's not quite tangible. It can become pure spirit, pure photon. So when Ariel and I are doing these frequency clinics, we are often really supporting people to have experiences of that I want to use the infinity symbol of the inner weaving of etheric and physical. So like the yin and the yang, the infinity symbol. Isn't it interesting how the infinity symbol, just making this symbol amplifies health. You can pray over somebody remotely or in person and make the symbol, and it will amplify energy, healing energy. It will bring more chi, more life force there. You know what blocks energy? A plus sign or a cross. A plus sign. Yeah, it's obviously it's a block. So the infinity symbol is this beautiful flow, and it has the 0 point. It has that 0 point. And this is the way that we can join etheric with physical. And our chakras are the transmuters, the transformers. They transform etheric into our physical bodies through the nerve cluster that is in our bodies, where the chakra comes into the spine. And then it flows out. So one of the beautiful beings that I channel, his name is Grandmaster Kyung Shang, and he's a Tibetan ancient lineage dragon master. And he teaches this beautiful kind of Qigong movement where he's like, the front of your body is the solar, the back of your body is the lunar. We have the solar, which is our engagement with our material realm, the external world. This is our personality engaging. This is the physical community. This is where we build tangibly our careers, structure, make food, raise our families. And then the lunar is the experience of the spiritual, of the astral, of the more unseen world. You need both for health. You have to have both. When these are in harmony with each other, that creates and generates and amplifies your personal frequency, of the frequency of your soul. They go together. So I like to do infinity symbols front and back, solar, lunar body, through the chakras. And this way, the male and female, the yin yang poles of my body. And that meditation every day keeps my chakras clear and recalibrated. So the last thing I want to touch on here is the vibration of sound, our voices. Sound is the gift that we are given. We bring our soul vibration out into the world. We can create reality through a word. How many of you know, or maybe yourself, somebody that has been deeply impacted by one thing a parent said to them when they were young? The vibration of these words spoken to an absorptive child, right? Children are so absorbing, right? And it directs that child's life until they find their way, right? So frequency can heal discordant patterns, density patterns in our bodies, in our cells, in our etheric body. So I want to invite you to hum. Grandmaster has us do this. Just hum, like literally hum. Hum 3 times. You can close your eyes, bring your awareness within yourself. We're going to just hum 3 times. And as you hum, feel the vibration of your voice in bringing, it's almost like it brings it in when you hum with your lips closed, and you can feel it. Try to feel it all through your body. Take a deep breath. Relax and open. Feel your humming all the way down to your tailbone. Humming like this is one way we can soothe the vagus nerve. And if we are in a state of stress, we can bring ourselves back into a regulated nervous system state. Humming. It's quite miraculous, really. Now I want to invite you to not hum, but to sound your first name. You came into this life with a name, with a name that was given to you for this particular incarnation. And the vowels of your name are ancient. These are seed syllables in your name. It doesn't matter what original culture that name came from. There's a reason why this name was brought in to your and merged with your physicality as you were born. So I want to invite you to chant your name as a sacred mantra. Chant your first name as a sacred mantra. We're going to accentuate the vowels. So I would say ma, re, ah. Accentuate with your mouth the vowels. And we're going to do it at all the same time. So you're going to be hearing the sound of everybody else chanting their sacred name. So just really, again, close your eyes, bring yourself within, and chant slowly your first name. And let's just do it once and notice how it feels. Really allow yourself to feel, embody the sound of the chant of your sacred name. Inhale. Ma, re, ah. Have you ever thought of yourself as so sacred that your name would be chanted? You are the sacred. You are. You are. Use your mala beads and chant your first name with pure devotion. Yeah. We're going to bring in the bowls now. So we carry the power of the word. Words can be sword words or salve words. They can be harming or they can be healing. They can be uplifting. And it doesn't have to be in a language we know. Many of us have heard of or practice light language or celestial language, where you just let go. You let go of our linear thoughts, and you simply allow sound vocables to come through. A lot of indigenous tribes, this is very normal, very normal to sing in vocables, right? And we are communing with the elements when we do this. We're communing with the etheric. We're weaving it into the physical. And then behind the sound vibration is our motivation. What are we motivating? What is the intention behind our words or a sound or a prayer or a chant? When you chant your first name, what's your mind doing? What's your mind thinking about? When you chant your first name and your whole being is motivated by self-care, self-respect, self-love, and now chant your name and chant the name of someone you love, someone who might be ailing, who needs prayers. Chant their name with the deepest reverence. So I want to invite you now to consider anywhere in your life that you received words that had a motivation or intention behind them that hurt you and maybe hooked into you, and maybe you haven't been able to shake it. Your mind latched on and has tended to loop and repeat this statement somebody said a judgment, perhaps really a judgment of themselves, but they projected it onto you. Is there anything like that? Any vibration that is discordant in your body? This is like a negative spell that's cast, right? And we're going to dissolve this today. Are you willing to dissolve this today? Yeah, because intention's really powerful. The intention of the person that may have said that harming word, likely unconsciously, likely out of control of themselves, likely not too aware of the long-term impact it would have on you. Their intention even was probably very shaky and unfounded. Therefore, it's going to be easy. Think of it this way. It's going to be easy with a full 100% intention from you today, how powerful you are today. It's going to be easy to dissolve it. Yeah. And we're going to have the assistance of the 432 Hertz bowls. The frequency of nature. So breathe, relax, scan your body. Be willing to, I am willing to identify where any density pattern is that's holding a negative message, story, or belief. It may have been inserted into me when I was young or said to me at some point in my life that ended up getting lodged in my tissues, my mind. I'm willing to see where those echoes or residue still exists because I am willing to transmute it right now. I'm willing to liberate myself. I'm willing to live 100% in my body and take up all the space and be 100% on my mission as an incarnate soul in this sacred life. Yes, yes, yes. Now stream the energy of those thought forms out of your body into a bowl of light in front of you. There's a bowl of light, and you're going to stream the density into that bowl from anywhere in your body where you've located it. Just stream it out of your organs, out of your chakras, out of your aura, out of your memory banks. You can have memories without pain. And the bowl is just filling, easily, effortlessly filling with what you are willing to release right now. There's a universal law called the law of attraction and repulsion. The law of attraction is a way to create reality. The law of repulsion is also a way to create reality. We have the power to say no to what does not serve us and is unhealthy, and yes, to what serves us and what is medicine for us. No to the poison, yes to the medicine, yes to the life-giving love of our beautiful, infinite creator source, our universe, our great mother, divine father. So I'm going to count to 3, and on the count of 3, when I reach 3, I want to invite you to throw your hand up, palm out, and do a nice embodied no to that bowl holding all of that gunk. You're saying no to the gunk, no to those thought forms, no to those patterns that are discordant and don't serve you, no to that poison. You're going to say no. The minute you do that, it's going to dissolve. It's going to start dissolving into light because this is your self-love. Are you ready? 1, take a deep breath. 2, feel yourself very anchored in your body. All of you, mind, body, spirit, incongruency. 3, no! And it's dissolving into light. Hands in prayer position. Let's bow. Thank you and goodbye. I know who I am. Chant your name once. Maria. Yes. Now you're going to say your yes. What are you saying yes to right now? Law of attraction. Bring it in. You know where it comes from? The portal of your heart. Your heart is a portal to the infinite, eternal realms of source, of your true nature. Just like the opening meditation, let it stream in beautiful light of your pure soul. Oh my gosh, so beautiful. So beautiful. Yes. Yes to fulfillment. Yes to your soul service. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Let yourself fill with it. In a whisper. In a whisper, my love. 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 We can change the world. We can change the world. Yes, yes. In a whisper, my love. In a whisper, my love. In a whisper, my love. We can change the world. You can change the world. Feel free to bring your voices in. In a whisper, my love. My love. In a whisper, my love. In a whisper, my love. We can change the world. You can change the world. Yes. In a whisper, you can change the world. My love. How much do you love Gaia? You can change the world. What would you say? In a whisper, my love. What would you say? In a whisper, my love. Surrender. Your brain waves are wanting to entrain to your higher dimensional nature. Let go. Go into theta. Go into gamma. What would you say? Feel there is no divide between spirit and matter. You are everything. My love, if you could change the world, I love you, my love. I trust you, my love. I trust you. In a whisper, my love. You can change the world. You can change the world. Oh, you can change the world. Shanti, Shanti. Change the world. In a whisper. Shanti, in a whisper, my love. You can change the world. Shanti,
You can change the world. You can change the world. You can change the You can change the world.
What would you say,
My love, what would you say? My love, what would you say?
my love?
My love,
What would you
you
say?
can change the world.
In a
You
whisper,
can change the world.
in a whisper,
You can change the
my love.
world.
In a whisper, my love, you can change the world.
I love you.
Holy Mother, Father God, creator of all that is, moving in and through everything. In gratitude, always in gratitude, we release you, all the higher density helpers that gathered with us today for these transmissions. Thank you for being here. We love you. I release you from this particular physical location for this particular intention of gathering. Holy Mother, Father God, infuse us even more. Be with us, hold us, and let us fully awaken to the truth of who we are, that we may be clear conduits for your love and peace and grace. Ashe, Amen, Shalom, Mitakoyasi, Mahalo.
I'm finding it hard to speak. I think I lost about 40 pounds of ugly things that I've been holding on to my whole life. Thank you. And I'm so grateful we recorded this because I'm going to watch it over and over again. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Beautiful. Oh, my goodness. Chicken skin. Ah, okay. Uh, we're now going to have some ethereal music from our music maestro over here, Kaimana. Well, we pass our, we're not going to pass the koa bowl, but the koa bowl is sitting over on this large table over here in the corner. And this is where we get to show our appreciation for New Thought being here, for the amazing speakers that come and share their wonderful manawa with us and their teachings and their deep soul explorations. When we have speakers come, we ask them to share their spiritual journey with us. And, you know, everybody has a miraculous teaching or wonderful thing to share. And what really seems to inspire most of us is when people share how they got there. In other words, their spiritual journey. And you did just an amazing job of that today. Thank you so much. And it reminded me of a few things. Really appreciate it. And the teaching as well. So, this is your opportunity. Come up one at a time and place your offering in the koa bowl so we can keep our lights on and our speakers coming and keep the joy and the love circulating around the world.
Well, I hear you in the night, through the dark, yeah, through the light, and I see you in the tree, above the branches and the sweet honeybees, yeah, and I feel you in my heart, yeah, way back, way back, way back, before we even tried to start, and I fly with you in my dreams, and you show me nothing's ever as it seems, and you promise to forever be watching over humanity. Well, mahalo, pueo, pueo, mahalo, mahalo, pueo, pueo, mahalo. 'Cause I hear you in the night, through the dark, yeah, through the light, yeah, and I see you in the trees, above the branches and the sweet honeybees, yeah, and I feel you in my heart, and that's my favorite part, and I fly with you, yeah, yeah, and I fly with you, and I fly with you in my dreams, and you show me nothing's ever as it seems, and you promise to forever be always present, yeah, and always free to fly so high into the sky. Don't even have to wonder why, 'cause why is not the question, no, it's who, who are you? Because I hear you in the night, through the dark, yeah, through the light, and I see you in the trees, above the branches and the sweet honeybees, yeah, and I feel you in my heart, yeah, way back, way back, way back, way back, way back, and I fly with you, yeah. So I just wanted to give Maria a little shout out. That's obviously Maria Owl. I got to do the ceremony last night with Maria. I've done several of the chakra ceremonies, and they've been life changing. Yeah, we did the second chakra, the third chakra. My life shifted in those areas, and then last night we did the fifth chakra, and I experienced the most ecstatic, exquisite, loving joyfulness I've ever experienced. And I've had a lot of practice in breath work and shamanic and medicine, and I'm still walking around laughing, giggling at life because it's so shifted. The bowls, the singing. You guys got a little sample taste. What I can tell you is when we meet together at the Temple of Remembrance, I think it's called, yeah, at her house, it's so amazing. What's clear to me is you are channels. You're the best channel. And I went to the Berkeley Psychic Institute, so I was around lots of channels, a school for channels, yeah. She's the best channel I've ever experienced. Um, and everything that I experienced last night, then the channel said, "Oh, this is what the reality is." And because I had just experienced that reality, I knew the truth of what was coming through, that we are light and that we are so loved, so loved. Yeah, thank you for the work you do, Maria. Wow.
Ooh, wow. Okay. Well, I'm going to call on Maria right now to share about anything you'd like to share about what's coming up for you, your book.
Yeah, and then there's that. um, I'm a new author of a real physical published book. Not an ebook, not a pamphlet, not a brochure.
Which is also
It's an actual
amazing.
book.
Which is also
It's like,
amazing. I'm reading the book. And
thanks, Kai. Yeah, I'm really proud of my book. I'm really proud of it. It does have a lot of my journey in it, and there's a lot of channeled information in there that came through me, and also it deeply leans into the Mayan prophecies and the law of one, the raw material, if you're familiar with that. The other thing I want to invite you to is we're moving now to the Brow Chakra in our frequency clinics, and it's on July 16th. So we're very excited. And then the Crown Chakra is August 27th. And everything takes place right now, currently at the Temple of Remembering in Captain Cook. And we're going to start cycling back through starting in September. We'll go back to the root. We'll go back up the chakras. So please come have an experience. They're really beautiful, very powerful, and the people that come are just, they're right there with 100% willingness for transformation in their lives and to be fully of service to their community, and they're good people. Good people find us. So come grow your community. Thank you. Um, Other than that, please find out more about my all my other work at sacredfuture.org. That's my website, sacredfuture.org. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me and having us.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Sacredfuture.org. I shall remember that. Oh my. Uh, my heart's so full. Okay. Coming up at New Thought Center, Sunday services always at 10. Right now, so far, they're still continuing in person, and you can watch it live on YouTube or watch the replay later. We still have free childcare, uh, and we need to know if you're bringing a child by Friday, so we make sure we have that amazing child care person here for your child. The next 3 Sundays are next Sunday is Allison Yana. I love her. She is the bee queen. She's coming to talk about honey in the heart. And she totally gets how the bees are carrying this certain energy for all of us on the planet and how important it is to our survival and how we really need to look out for those poor little critters because they are having a really hard time right now. And she just has such amazing wisdom from the bees and her own spiritual journey, which is quite amazing as well. And we'll have a music by Mahina Saunders, who is one of my favorite ladies in the world. She's amazing. Kumuhula. And on 6/19 is Don Barnett, summer solstice ceremony. So drumming starts at 9:45 and the service starts at 10 and goes till 12. So don't come early thinking you're going to leave early. And if you want to, you can bring a drum and bring a floor mat, something to sit on, something to be comfortable. We do lay down during the ceremony on the floor, and we do a drumming journey. On the 26th is Heather Yana Reynolds, She's going to be talking about transformative justice as a spiritual practice. And she is creating a support system here on this island for women and girls to be supported in their journey and to receive justice in whatever form they need. It's hard to speak about because um, I have family members who have gone through things that nobody should ever have to go through, and there wasn't any way to resolve for them, but now it's becoming possible. So I'm very grateful. And music by Darby Partner. Monthly events, last Sunday of the month. Produce giveaway after service. So if you have extra anything that's delicious and edible and legal, um, our next event is June 26th. And the first Sunday of the month, we have our pre-service healing meditation with the crystal bowls. Starts at 8:30 till 9 o'clock on July 3rd. So it'll be the first Sunday in July. Service opportunities. We would love to have some volunteers as greeters, as setup, as cleanup, someone to assist with Facebook page creation and maintenance, workshop facilitators to help with the logistics of the event, and uh, also we somehow COVID's keeping us away from planning our 50th Jubilee, which was last year. So we're still working on it and still trying to put it together. And we're in the process of creating an online auction as one thing. And we want to have a big celebration. And sooner or later, we're going to have that. It's going to happen. We may be 60 by then, but we're still going to have that. So if you'd like to volunteer for any of those things, please speak to one of our board members, and with the board members, raise your hands, please, so you know who to go to, okay? Or you can send an email to our email address at spiritof@newthoughtcenterofhawaii.com. If you're not on our mailing list and would like to receive our weekly email, you can sign up on our guest book over here, or you can go to our website and sign up on the front page. There's a link for you to do that. And if you're not sure you want to get it, you can get it. And if you decide you don't want it, it's easy to unsubscribe. So please join us with that. So now I feel like we totally had our closing prayer. That was amazing. So I'd just like to move right now into our closing song. So we're all going to just stand where we are, and we're going to sing Hawaii Aloha. The words are up there.
Nice just to open the arms, yeah. Since we can't really hold each other's hands right now, we can kind of imagine that we're holding hands with the whole world. Yeah. E Hawaii e kuone hanawe kuhome kula irine Olino ina ponolani e Hawaii aloha Hawaii. E haoli na o pio o Hawaii nei. Oli Oli mai na he a he makani e paunai. Mau ke aloha no Hawaii. Mau ke aloha no Hawaii.
Thank you so much for your beautiful